In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get into the best energetic state so you can perform at the highest level within your business and in life as well. And what I say is that what we go through, we grow through to glow through. And in terms of growing and glowing, I always say the highest form of energy that we have on this planet is the sunlight. And the sun obviously gleams on this planet and it gleams through your windows every single day. So I have an acronym for GLEAM, and the G starts with goals. And it's so important to align yourself to your sense of purpose and being. So let's face it, because most people, when they wake up in the morning, they have to drag themselves out of bed, drag themselves into the office, and they look at the screen all day wondering what the bleep they're doing there. And yet when they might be going on holiday, they actually spring out of bed, spring into a taxi, spring into the airplane, and spring into the swimming pool with loads of energy because they're aligned to something they truly love doing. So if you can truly find what you love doing, what you're good at doing, and what you can add value to people in some way or form and find a match, you'd probably go out there and do something that you truly would do for free because you love it so much. So that's the first thing in terms of finding a sense of purpose and then aligning goals to that sense of purpose to give you direction in where you need to go. Secondly, gamifying life. Now, it's quite obvious that we all sometimes go through some hardships, we all sometimes meet some testing people and everything like that, and we get wrapped up in those emotions sometimes, and sometimes we don't create win-win in the interactions that we have, we sometimes create win-lose or lose-lose. So it's very important, I think, is to be a little bit more relaxed about everything that happens to you and the people you meet as well. And what I mean by that, if there's a difficult situation or something that goes wrong, instead of taking it too seriously and getting upset about it, why not take yourself out of the situation, look back in as if you're on the 10th floor, as if you're the observer of the situation, and ask yourself, what am I learning here? How can I grow here? And what can I utilize in this interaction to learn to grow, to evolve, to become the best version of myself, and maybe teach someone else in terms of turning your mess into a message and give it meaning in some way or form. And if you gamify life, where life is about trying to be superhuman in terms of emotionally intelligent in all circumstances, it makes it a bit fun when you have those difficult circumstances in your life. So gamify life if you can. Also gratitude. I mean, how many people out there have children, right? I've got two. If you ever give them a present and not grateful, do you feel like giving them anything else? Of course not. So why would the universe or even your own subconscious make you feel worthy to receive anything else if you're not grateful for even the small things that you have now? So be truly grateful and you'll open yourself up to receive more. Also, giving to others is one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself. And actually, in offices I've seen in the past, sometimes there's these incredibly charming people and they look like they're giving all the time, but they're giving with the expectation of receiving something back in the future. And I truly believe that karma actually picks up on that. And I truly believe that if you give with the expectation of not receiving, it's amazing how you get it back. And actually, quite a few of my clients, they say, Doug, you know what? I keep giving to my brother, my mother, my father, or my son or my daughter, and they don't give back to me. I don't seem to see the universe returning that to me or whatever. But then they tell me about how some other person has given them £1 million or has done something amazing for them or something like that. And what I would say is when you give with the expectation of not receiving, just remember you might get something back from somebody else, because I truly believe that we're all interconnected in some way or form. And also, everybody's talking about self-love at the moment and how important that is to pamper yourself and make yourself feel good. And I get that. But I can tell you something, if you go out there and do thousands of hours like I did in terms of mental wellness and business advice to people who need help to stay afloat in the pandemic, you'll probably come back and look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm not a bad person. I actually quite love myself. So go out and give to others. It's one of the greatest gifts that you can give to yourself. L, in terms of the GLEAM acronym, is firstly letting go of those energies such as anger, resentment, lack of forgiveness, and guilt, because they're basically problems of the past and they're emotions that are stuck within you. And let's face it, when you watch a river flow and that beautiful water gleams in the light, quite often you can see water stuck at the side that actually is stuck and it's gone a bit stagnant. And that's a bit like those energies within. And you don't want that, because the better flow that you have, the better energy you're going to have as well. So if you can let go of the problems of the past, you can focus on the fabulous future, because it's very difficult to come to the outcome and the solution when you're still in the problem. And also quite often we get situations where people get triggered by those problems in the past if they still have it stuck within them as well. So let go and watch the world get so much better all around you. E is for energy, which is obviously what I'm talking about, but also emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence, I believe, is one of the most grounded versions of consciousness. In terms of if you can raise your emotional intelligence, you'll raise your consciousness as well. And what's that about? Well, firstly, it's about awareness. But in business, it's about self-awareness, but it's also about organizational awareness, team awareness, and client awareness of where you are and what you needed to achieve, and what your problems are and how you can get through them to get to the solutions as well. So awareness is very important to understand, even for your own self, your triggers, your traumas, and your parental programs. So through awareness and acceptance that they're in you, you can then release and let go of them as well. Also, in terms of emotional intelligence, it's all about conscious communication. And I say that your words are your wand, or the sentences you say can sometimes be the sentences you condemn yourself and others to. And what do I mean by that? Well, I believe that words have energy. In fact, thoughts have energy, and thoughts lead to words, and words lead to actions, and actions lead to habits, and habits lead to destiny. So start with a positive thought and end with a positive destiny. But I think it's so important to voice the energetic words that you want rather than what you don't want. Don't use those hope nots and so. So for example, I had someone who came up to me one time and said, "Oh, Doug, will you visualize for me that it doesn't rain on my wedding day?" Because I've got a manifestation technique that really helps people. And I said, "No, I won't, because you put rain and wedding day in the same sentence. What I will do is I'll visualize that there's blue sky and sunshine so that you get what you want rather than what you don't want." So very important that you utilize words that actually lead you towards the end solution or outcome or what you're looking for as well. Emotional intelligence is also about empathy and compassion towards other people. And let's face it, we are a product of our parents, our preachers, our teachers, and past relationships and experiences. And that means that we all have different perspectives in life. And that means that you could see a color as yellow, I could see it as orange. It doesn't necessarily mean that either of us are right or either of us are wrong. It's just different perspectives of the same thing. The problem is that we all have opinions, and we like to push our opinions sometimes on other people, and that can sometimes cause confrontation, which doesn't help anybody, whether in the boardroom or the bedroom. So if we can truly ask the right questions to understand the other person's perspectives rather than making assumptions, you can get to the solutions and the ideas much more quickly. And actually, diversity and inclusion is such a wonderful thing to have in any organization, because if you've got lots of people from different backgrounds, that means that you get more angles on those issues so that you can come up with more solutions as well. So a great thing to have within the office as well. And also, emotional intelligence is all about self-regulation, because quite often we get these testing people that come into our lives, and it's very important to make sure that you self-regulate so that you create win-win in the interaction of life. And that includes with your own self. Let's face it, you're the person who talks to yourself the most, so you might as well make it positive as well. Sometimes it's the most intelligent conversation you actually have. And then finally, in terms of emotional intelligence, it's about motivation. But actually the word motive comes from a reason which is outside you. The old way of leadership was all command and control, go out there and beat them with a stick to try and get them to do something, or try and stick a carrot out in terms of some kind of monetary idea to try and get them to do something as well. Well, why not create inspiration within your business so they're inspired action towards a common goal? And one way you can do that is to make sure that all your people within your organization or your own self understand the energetics of each individual task that you do and how it actually ends up bettering somebody's life. So as an example, I used to work in the investment world, and I had a guy who worked for me, he was an IT guy. He came up to me and he said, "Doug, I'm fed up." He said, "All I do every day is just work on, problems that people complain about their computers all the time. I don't feel I've got a sense of purpose. I want to leave." And I said to him, "Why don't you reframe what we do? Because actually every time you solve one of those IT-oriented issues, you're helping and give a better outcome for that granny or grandpa so they can retire younger, give more to their children, their grandchildren, buy a better retirement home, or even stock up on Viagra if they're into that kind of thing." Anyway, so if you can really truly understand the energetics of what your job is and how it interlinks with other people maybe in the organization to end, with the end customer in terms of adding value and bettering their lives, it gives you a sense of meaning. It gives you a sense of cause and inspiration and love for what you do as well. So that's E in terms of emotional intelligence. Going back to the GLEAM acronym, we also have A, and A is about authenticity. And I truly believe that, we chose this spacesuit in my viewpoint, so be you. It's the most authentic version of you. And it's funny how people can understand the energy of when you're truly being your true self and you're not masking a situation with some kind of fakeness. So truly be you and you'll find everything flows in a lot better way. And then finally, M, twofold. One is a bit weird for a business, but it's meditation. And the reason why I say meditation, not necessarily to sit there and go, What I mean by meditation is actually putting your hand in your heart, closing your eyes, and I would say, "I am Doug Gordon, I am my heart. Please let me connect with the hearts of the audience or the people I meet in order to bless rather than impress and add as much value." And what you're doing there is you're getting yourself out of your head into your heart space, which is your higher space. Because while you're in your head space, you're in your ego space. And sometimes you make decisions from fear. Whereas if you come from here, you make decisions from love. And when you have love for what you do, love for the people you work with, and love for the clients you serve, you have lots of vibrant energy. And then finally, M is also for meaning. And the meaning of life, what is that? Is it to create a sense of purpose and follow that purpose? Maybe, yes, I think so. But also, I truly believe that we're given this gift of life so that we can enjoy all the experiences of life. The gift of sight, the gift of hearing, the gift of sound, the gift of taste, the gift of touch. All of these are gifts that some people actually can't experience. So if you can truly appreciate everything in life as a gift, and also know that when you're 94 years of age, you're not going to necessarily look back at how much money you might have made. Obviously, money is useful because you can then help more people. But actually, when you're 94 years of age, you're going to look back at how many hearts you've touched. And that comes down to the simplest things, as a kiss you give, a hug you hold, and a kind word that you pass on. So if you go out there and give as many kisses, as many hugs, as many kind words, you're going to live a life of love with lots of vibrant energy. And if you optimize your energy, you're going to optimize your performance in your job and your life too.